One, two, three, go. Hello to everyone, to all of the people listening all over the world. If you're new here, welcome back to Looxis Films Weekly Podcast, and I'm your host, Loonax D at your service. And by the way, everyone, I am so grateful for all of the people who tuned in with me in the previous episode of our podcast series. Kasi kung alam niyo lang, I'm so honored, genuinely, na I am sharing this to all of you because in the first place, that is my purpose of making this series. I know kasi na, mostly or the majority sa mga nakikinig ngayon is maali lang yan sa they still don't know their direction or maybe he or she wants to know more than his or her wisdom. At dahil dyan, for you to know more about me as Director X, as Director Loonax, in the second episode, hindi naman to ganun ka-espesyal pero kasi gusto ko lang naman ikwento or isalaysay sa inyo kung paano ako napunta sa kinatatayuan ko ngayon. Ah, kung paano nagmula si Director Loonax, si Direct Loonax, at paano ako nakilala ng Arcturus as Director X. And you know what? It's about time na din kasi because a lot of people kept asking me that what is my reason of doing this, about that, about this, like what is my purpose in pursuing songwriting and of course in directing. Well, to tell you honestly, me myself, hindi ko talaga alam kung ano pumasok sa kokote ko para pasukin to. So yes, entertainment wasn't primarily my plan before, but yet ang nasa isip ko talaga noon ay maalin yan sa political science or business management. Yan. This was the things that, I have in my mind back in the days. Kasi, me as a person, mahilig talaga ako in stating my own insights, my political viewpoints, syempre, yung analysis and data ko sa mga bagay-bagay, and etc. and etc. Pero, ano nga bang nagpabago sa isip ng isang Director Loonax? Kasi ako, nursery or as in batang-bata pa lang ako, I'm really fond of books and songs. Like, walang lilipas na araw na wala ko nababasang libro. 'Di ba, I remember, usong-uso pa nga noon yung mga storybooks, mga pocketbook at comics. And of course, ito, hindi makokompleto yung childhood mo pag di ka pinapatulog ng mama or lola or yung kung sino man nakakatanda sa inyo tuwing tanghali. Kasi, alam niyo ba, yung mga kanta sa radyo, yun yung lalabay ko noon para makatulog sa tanghali. Kasi mapapalo talaga ako if I don't sleep in the afternoon. And one fact, you know, I always believe that fate will always find a way to find its course talaga. Na magbibigay talaga siya ng sign no matter what it takes. Nung para sa tatahakin mo in the near future. Kasi, I remember back in 2014, mga ganyan, there is a lot of revelation as in, I was fond of writing at that moment. Well, until now, nothing missing creative writing ha, but alam mo kasi, nung time na yon, I have this feeling which until now, damang-dama ko pa rin hanggang ngayon. Yes. Do you know the feeling na siya yung parang escape mo from this toxic world? And yung feeling na parang while writing, para kang napupunta sa ibang dimension, sa ibang mundo. Kasi nawawala na lang bigla yung problema, yung bigat na loob na dinadala mo sa buhay, parang ganun. Tapos, naalala ko, ito bigla, kwento ko lang. Kailan nga ba nag-air yung fantasy series na yun? Ayun. Nung the year 2016, dun ko talaga na-confirm yung lahat ng hesitation na meron ako sa utak ko. Kasi kwento ko lang na tandang-tanda ko, lunch break namin noon, nandun kami sa classroom. Nakakamiss talaga face-to-face, no? Maaga kasi kami kumain noon. So, maaga din ako natapos kasi mabilis talaga ako kumain when it's lunch because gusto ko agad gawin yung kailangan kong gawin. Because I'm a very time management person. Malakas ang paniniwala ko sa ganon. And lunch break namin nun. Then surprisingly, nakita ko yung notebook ko na hindi ko nga alam kung bakit ko binili. Tapos sakto, I saw my ballpen lying on the floor, so pinulot ko. And alam nyo ba, napakasikat nun yung series na Encantadia. Hindi ko, sayang nga ang bilis na tapos. Pero sana may season 2. Ako natin yan. And guess what I did after picking up the ballpen? Gumawa ako ng impromptu. Yes. Like, yung version ko nung fantasy series. Kasi 'di ba, may ganong moment na nangyayari sa atin eh. Yung nagiging inspired tayo sa isang concept, then gusto mo na lang siyang gawin. Gaya ng rom-com or fantasy, yan yung mga, what do you call this? The usual genre na we copy or we have in mind when in terms of motivation or when in terms of concept. And alam mo, yung kanyang mga pagkakataon, yung pagkakataong yan, I think, for me, parang yan yung naging stepping stone ko noon para sa directing career ko. Pero hindi ko lang talaga siya na-realize kaagad because maybe I'm still not open-minded of the things that surrounds me, or I'm not still aware of what dream, passion, and goals are. Marami kasing natututunan tayo once we became matured, right? And alam nyo ba na in directing for me, there are two ways to conduct a successful occurrence in directing. Una, think of a concept that is based on the society's argument versus the society's conspiracy. And the other option is my forte. This is by means of finding your own demeanors. Like any sort of directors, they have their own styles. They have their own ways to attack things in the industry, in the cinematic industry, to portray such distinctiveness. But directing is a very deep and a very wide industry, a wide profession. So that's why it needs wit, it needs passion, and it needs management skills. Because directing is it's like reading or writing a kind of excerpt, because it needs some ideas. You need to pour some time for you to finish or for you to accomplish a certain task. And going back, speaking of directing, gusto ko talaga malaman nyo kung paano ako napadpad niya sa Arcturus. Napaka iba talaga kumilos ng tadhana kung tutuusin. Alam niyo ba bakit? Let me explain. Arcturus is such a big blessing for me. It gave a lot of impact in my life right now. Kasi noon, I'm really not that confident of what I do in life. Like, I'm a introvert. Yes, that's true. That's one fact about me. When I'm not yet in the Arcturus Entertainment, in the Arcturus group, like, I am afraid to show my true character. Di ba may ganong dumadating na time sa atin, we are afraid to be distinguished by others in terms of our aspect. Pero in means of Arcturus, sila yung naging daan. And of course, most importantly, with the help and the guidance of our Lord, dear Jesus Christ, they changed me into a more better person. Marami akong natutunan and marami din ako na-discover. And fun fact, if I'm not mistaken L Project Fan, yun yung former name ng organization. And I joined the team earlier than the other administrators. And tandang-tanda ko noon, I just auditioned in Arcturus as a songwriter, ganyan. Napaka-amateur ko noon, nung time na yon. Like, I will do my best para lang makapasok doon kasi may something na parang I need to be admitted, or else it will be a big loss for me. Like, malaking kawalan pag hindi ako napasama or nasali doon. So that's why I urged the head admin to take me. And luckily, tinanggap naman si direct nyo. Well, At alam nyo ba, nung time na pagpasok ko, I thought everything will always go to their plans, to the way we plan it, to the way we visualize it. But, you know, nung umpisa, nanibago ako sa new environment, sa new things na kailangan ko matutunan. Then, after a few weeks, dumating si Oni ko, si Ricini, a very close friend of mine, and of course, the head songwriter of Your Story, Arturus. She mentored me and taught me a lot of things which resulted from what I am now as a lyricist. And alam niyo naman, songwriting isn't an easy job. Hindi yan ganyan kadali. Maraming komplikadong bagay when in terms of songwriting. Maraming technicalities, maraming techniques, hidden techniques. Maraming need i-consider, maraming aaralin, and of course, maraming ding matutunan. And under Actorus, at first, gawa-gawa lang kami ng mga drops ganyan, mga song compulsories, processing, visual distribution, so on and so forth. Then, ulit lang siya. It will just repeat the cycle. Paulit-ulit lang. That's why I consulted Ricini. I consulted Oni. At that time, I told her na, Oni, can I talk about something with you? I'm just concerned about our team. Like, are we moving from such a course? Aren't we, pressing the wrong buttons? And we need to make an alternative at some point. And that's when the creative department came to life. And aside that, we also came up with this, consistent formulation. Yes, this is a kind of technique or formula that we enabled for the lyricists and the creative personalities under the administration to come up with ideas without feeling any hesitation and without enabling their self-doubt from such criticism, because that is very normal in the creative department. I always notice that. And we call this formulation as freelance distinction. Like, we always have this thing in mind that we will always allow everyone under the creative department or even in the other departments of the administration to compile ideas or any kind or any sort, for an example, like breaking apart into fine specks of dust, happiness within boundaries, and the like. In this kind of way, we will increase the confidence of the entire department, and best is the agency too. We will increase the confidence, and it will also increase the engagement of the agency of our group. And that brings sa pagpasok ng another chapter ng Arturus Entertainment. Ang pagpasok ng aming main producer, at kilala nyo to. The one and only, ang aking Yung Melody when it terms of music and producing music. Yolberioni. And to tell you honestly, nakakatawa yung pagkakabuo ng aming team kasi hiwa-hiwalay. Like, ako'y nauna, tapos si Sini, tapos si Yolberi, si Oni, pumasok siya mga 4 months before our debut. Diba imagine, 4 months before our debut, and she still finished the main song at that moment. And that's what makes me amazed of people which is very passionate in terms of music. And nung natapos niya yung mismong song piece, we proceeded with the creative stuff pagkatapos agad. So ayan, ito ang nakakatawa dito. Unexpectedly, si head admin, ito talaga di ko makakalimutan she appointed me to lead in the creative department, and I said, huh? Me? Why? Kasi, do you blame me? I applied as a songwriter lang naman kasi yan lang ang responsibilidad ko, and bigla na lang makakarinig na maglilid ako. So I'm so, nakakagulat na gagawin ko yon, and I'm just a songwriter. So bakit ako? So I really can't decide at that moment. So I told her that I will think about it muna. Kasi hindi to biro because this is a huge task. And gabi nun, I was staring at the moonlight. Hindi ko talaga alam yung isasagot ko kasi napaka-complicated niya. And ako, songwriter lang kasi ako. So, alam nyo kasi ako yung tipo ng taong anxious sa mga bagay-bagay if nagiging super pressuring siya sa akin because parang mabigat siya sa loob. Kasi paano na lang kung mag-failure, paano na lang kung pumalpak, hindi ba? Matadamay ang buong department. Pero, nagbago yan nung nag-measure sa akin si Ate Lizine, si Lizine on. She urged me to push it through. Because she said that wala nang ibang taong mas babagay for the job aside from me. And isn't it worth a try? At saka sabi niya din na ito hindi ko makalimutan. Oo nga, sabihin na natin hindi mo kaya. So kung hindi mo man kayanin, okay lang. Pwede naman tayong mag-initiate retreat agad. Pero masama bang mag-try tayo, di ba? Isn't it worth it to try? Right? Well, that made me realize that wala din namang mawawala kung susubukan natin, di ba? So, I finally agreed to our head admin. And nung kinabukasan, nag-umpisa na lang agad kami. And alam niyo ba by that time, nakakaano siya, parang may hassle na nakakapagod. Pero may something talaga na I am tired at some certain point, but there really is this aspect, may something na it's very special that it just urged me to make more. That I desire to have more job, to have more work to do, even though we're all done at some point. And it just urged me for this desire. And that's when the moment our head admin officially appointed me as the head director. And di ko alam pero masaya ako na parang kinakabahan na may pressure kasi we all know directorship is a bit of complicated but pinangahawakan ko lang talaga yung tiwala nila for me and ayaw ko silang biguin. So, ipinagpatuloy ko na lang. And so, kanina nga, I mentioned our debut. Just like other known personalities, hindi naging madali ang pinagdaanan namin para mairaos siya. Like, in technicalities, ang aming lyrical framework, yung editing, legal assurance, and so on and so forth. Pero syempre, ang biggest obstacle na for me na kinarap namin, or yet, I believe, this is a huge hindrance to a lot of people. This is not only a battle between physical aspects, but it is also a hindrance mentally and emotionally. We admit that Arcturus received a lot of criticisms, lalo na ako, si Yolberry. I remember this one person, he told me na, "Be, you should be here, not there. Be realistic. Dapat nag-aaral ka na lang, sa gabal yan. Wala ka din namang mapapala dyan hindi ka din namang binabayaran. So, ba't ka ba parang nagpipilit, bakit ka nagsasakripisyo dyan?" And some people criticize also my works that they said, it's so amateurish. And masakit pero yung parang point na gusto na nilang diktahan yung every achievement and yung every failure na I attained in my life. So, it's my accomplishment, not theirs. So, in short, they want to drag me down, to drag Arcturus down, which expected naman kasi na di siya magiging madali. But the funny part in here is, instead of overthinking and letting anxiety overcome me, sinabi ko na lang sa sarili ko, being frightened won't do anything. Pinasok mo to self, so kailangan mong panindigan yung bawat decision mo. Maraming tao ang nakasalalay dito. So, that's what I did. Yun ang ginawa ko. We continued everything that we've started and we went straight through our solo debut. Naglaban ko yung sinimulan namin kasi that is my job and it is our responsibility as a administration. Wala na tayong magagawa because, once you let yourself be affected from those so-called, criticisms, um, dragging down things, ano namang mapapala mo dun? Nothing. You will benefit nothing from it, but you will just, you will just feel this anger and disappointment. And all of that will just remain as regrets. And ako, I have this principle in life that I don't want to pronounce defeat without even trying. Hindi ako alis dito hanggat hindi ko sinusubukan. Hindi ako susuko hanggang alam ko sa sarili kung kaya ko siyang gawin. Because that is what I desire the most. So Arthur fought for it until the end through our team. And actually, yung time na yun, I was blinded with fear at that time. Kasi, maraming what if sa isip ko nun eh. What if maging failure yung 1 year na preparation na yun? What if maraming bumatikos? Maraming what if. There's a lot of negativity in my mind at that time. But guess what happened next? Alam to nila head admin tsaka nila Yolberry, nila Resini Oni. Sabi nila, totoo nga, no? Once na-accomplish ka ng big task, maiiyak ka na lang talaga. Because I cried a lot noong time na yon. Sobra. Kasi naka-Gmeet kami noon, naka-Google Meet. So parang kami noon, parang nakikinig kami doon sa mga nakikinig or parang nagbabasa kami ng mga comments and reviews and nagustuhan nila. And that made me cry a lot. Parang tears of joy. Because akala ko talaga masasayang ang lahat ng efforts ng team. Firstly. At saka because of the criticisms. Kasi nasa isip ko noon, baka marami kasing hindi pa open-minded. Baka kasi madamay yung team because of that hate na meron ng tao sa akin or sa particular person. Like, it came to the point na, alam to ng mga admins, tsaka ng some of my closest friends na after nung debut na yun, magre-resign na sana ako and I'm just about to give up from this, from this natawag ko noong fake passion. And pagpapatuloy ko na lang at I will just thrive on my own and I'll just focus on my studies. Pero, guess what happened after the release? I realized that yes, there are people who will criticize you no matter what. But, tandaan mo that there are also some people who will support you wholeheartedly. Kaya to all aspiring dreamers, tandaan nyo na yung sinabi ko nung the previous episode of our podcast series, lagi nyo tatandaan nyo. Criticism will remain as criticism, but try to think of it. They can criticize you every time, but remember at the end of the day, they will still remain as a nobody. So just stand up straight, chins up, and do what you must do. Do everything you love no matter what it takes. Na wag mong isipin kung sino man yung humahad lang sa pangarap mo, mapakaibigan or pamilya mo man yan. Paglaban mo yung gusto ng puso at isipan mo. Fight for your future. Paglaban mo because it defines you more than anything else. It's okay to be mindful of everything you do in life. Pero kasi, alam ko yung feeling na yung mas binubuhos mo ng wagas yung support mo sa ibang tao rather than yourself. Pero in that kind of way, let me just leave you this very simple advice. Firstly, huwag ka masyadong mahigpit sa sarili mo. Kasi sa buhay, always live with a purpose. Turn your life into a meaningful agenda because you yourself have meaning. So, turn your life into a meaningful substance. Panindigan mo yung gusto mo sa buhay, yung mga hangarin mo sa buhay. Because remember, things can't be foreseen, but we can feel the thing that we should be ready of in the near future. And ano yung preparation na tinutukoy natin doon? You itself. Preparation of yourself kasi no. I always believe na kung hindi ka handa in this time, then never ka magiging handa at the rest of your life. So, learn to be furious at some point. Yes. Maging matapang ka sa bawat decision mo sa buhay. Dahil kung takot ka na harapin ang mga bagay-bagay, then let me tell you. Let me enlighten you. Pagsisisihan mo yan balang araw. Kasi for me, kasi I experienced that. It's regret. It will remain as regrets because yan ang magiging cause ng downfall mo. Totoo yan. We can dream, yes. Pero ang tatandaan mo, ang pagkakaroon ng pangarap, lagi yan may kaakibat na responsibilidad yan. Like in every dream, there's something that you must be aware of. Pero for me, the most important thing is, huwag mong isipin yung mga yan, yung pressure, yung mga kailangan mong isipin, yung expectation ng ibang tao, pero ang isipin mo lang, isipin mo, natutunan mo na bang makilala yung sarili mo? Because before knowing what your dream really is, kailangan mo munang matutunan sarili mo. Kasi maniwala ka, trust me, it will make your life far from what you are expecting. Yes, malayo siya sa ina-expect mo once na nakilala mo ang Diyos, once na nakilala mo sarili mo. And hold up. Ang Diyos, lagi ko itong sinasabi sa mga kaibigan ko. Ang Diyos, marami yung plano para sa'yo. Yes, minsan lang iniisip natin na yes, yung buhay natin parang pabagsak na, parang naghihingalo na, pero isipin mo, God won't put you in that kind of situation. Lagi ko ito sinasabi, God won't put you into that kind of situation kung hindi ka pa handa. He is putting you in that kind of path para mas maging prepared ka on the bigger path. Yung tinatawag nating battlefield, for you to be ready in that kind of battlefield, because the real world is far different from what we are standing right now. He is preparing you for a bigger challenge, for a bigger battlefield. Diba? Ganun kagaling ang Diyos. He is preparing you. Mas pinapatatag ka niya para pag alibabang nandun ka na sa battlefield na yun, handa ka na. Handa mo na silang harapin and you are ready to confront them. Yes. And hold up! Medyo napahaba kwentuhan natin, no? So, ayun, this is just my piece of advice when in terms of life. Kasi gusto ko lang malaman nyo na, each one of us has a story to tell. Even you, kahit ikaw, or yung katabi mo, lahat tayo ay may istorya. Kaya nga di ba sabi nila, ang buhay natin parang pelikula yan. Because we have stories to tell. Ayan. Laging may ganyan, di ba? So, don't be scared of what future holds, but be prepared na lang for the future. Be prepared of what the future may bring. Express yourself more with light and greatness. Maging totoo ka lang sa sarili mo, sa paligid mo, okay na yun. Kaysa naman you're hiding from that shadow, knowing na nandyan ka lang nagmumukmok sa dilim. Without knowing, and noticing that there's light in every shadow. And again, this has been your host, Loonax D at your service. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay hydrated, and see you to our next episode of Looxis Films Weekly Podcast. See you. Peace.